Dumelang, welcome to Face the Nation. My name is Clement Manyatela. Great to have you with us here on SABC News. On the show tonight, why has the Department of Justice failed to do its job to ensure the Madlanga inquiry commences as planned? The commission won't be beginning on the 1st of September because the Justice Department has failed to procure vital infrastructure that's necessary for that inquiry. The Minister of Justice seems to be laying the blame on the DDG and the DG at the department. But what really is going on here? The Minister, Mmamoloko Kubayi, faces the nation tonight. Also on the show, did the Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela fail to follow the law when he placed 3 SETAs under administration? That's what the SETA CEOs are saying. But the minister is also facing questions around the appointment of administrators with questionable backgrounds to these SETAs. The minister has now asked the Public Service Commission to vet the administrators, which is what his department should have done before he appointed them. The Chairperson of Parliament's Higher Education Committee, Tebogo, Letsie, will tell us how Parliament will be holding the minister accountable and asking him for clarity. He joins us tonight. And then later, why has the Ngqamakwe water scheme in Tsomo in the Eastern Cape stalled after over 100 million rand was spent? It's been reported that despite that amount being spent and 3 contractors working on that project, communities are still left high and dry. The municipal manager at the Amathole District Municipality speaks to us for some answers. But first, my comment. So the Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the Criminal Justice System will no longer begin on the 1st of September as initially planned. The Commission's chairperson confirmed in a statement earlier today that this is due to delays in the procurement of vital infrastructure that is necessary for the commencement of the inquiry. In fact, the Department of Justice is responsible for procuring this infrastructure. And the Commission's chair, Justice Madlanga, said that the department made a commitment that the requirements would be procured in time, but failed to do so. Now, as a result, the Commission has to reschedule the starting date. And it says what's more regrettable is that the substantial portion of the 3 months period, at the end of which the Commission is expected to submit an interim report, would have gone by without the Commission having heard a single witness. Now, of course, there are so many questions here. Why has the Justice Department failed to do this basic work? This is not the first inquiry that they have assisted with resources. So what happened? The Minister of Justice, Mmamoloko Kubayi, says there were lapses in the system and due diligence was not done to ensure that the commission starts on time.
It was brought to my attention that the Madlanga Commission will not be able to start as envisaged for the 1st of September for their hearings. I immediately convened several meetings throughout the day of Friday, cancelled my diary, and together with some of the officials and brought them in to be able to try and see if there are issues that we needed to resolve and how we can ensure that the 1st of September is not compromised. It was evident towards the end of the day that we will not be able to practically do that because intervention would have meant that we violate PFMA and SEM processes that are in place. And therefore we had to concede that we'll have to allow the administration to be able to do their work. But here I must indicate that certain issues could have been avoided by the administrators in the department. And from the discussion with the Commission, it was indicated that for them to be able to share the work that they've been doing in terms of documents, they need a secure platform. For them to be able to submit a report which commissioners will have to go through and be able to prepare for so that they notify the first witness to testify in time, they would have needed to do that by Wednesday, which all those are not in place as the processes are being concluded today. And that meant that they will have to delay. So we have committed to them that as we committed that all the processes will be completed today, as I report that they are completed, and we have requested them to rework and announce their starting date.
Now, the minister has now suspended the Deputy Director General, and she says the president has delegated her to institute disciplinary proceedings against the DG of the department.
On Friday, as I did the report, I had immediately put the DDG responsible for ICT, Mr. Jabuhla Chwayo, on immediate suspension, pending a full investigation and a disciplinary process. This is because of the failures and lapses on the system, and also not being able to do due diligence and ensuring that the commission starts on time. With the report submitted, the president then communicated the request for them, or in the process, the president then delegated to the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development powers to institute disciplinary proceedings against the Director General of the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, Advocate Doc Mashabane, and this decision has been communicated to him this afternoon. We must, however, state that despite these challenges, the Madlanga Commission has commenced with a preliminary work that includes interaction with their witnesses. We remain committed to ensuring that Commission begins its work without further delays and to strengthening the operational efficiencies of the department to prevent similar setbacks in the future.
But then, when did the minister realize that the DG wasn't doing what he was supposed to do? And when were these delays communicated to the commission? We're going to be speaking to the minister in a moment, but political parties like the EFF are not satisfied. The party believes that this is part of attempts to stifle accountability.
It is the EFF's considered view that this forms part of a deliberate attempt to stifle accountability, and we have indicated that the establishment of this commission by the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, was nothing but a pretense at action, knowing very well that there was no intention of ever holding his political ally and current Minister of Police, Mthembu, accountable for the allegations against him. The pronouncement of this commission was a political ploy to ease the anxieties of South Africans in the immediate, hoping that our nation would in time collectively forget the damning allegations against Mthembu and our law enforcement agencies, which were alleged to be captured by criminal networks and drug syndicates. The fact that this commission, which was supposed to provide an interim report of its work in 3 months, has not had the necessary resources allocated to it is a testament to this fact. The EFF takes this opportunity to remind South Africans that Mthembu continues to draw the benefits of a Minister of Police, which includes security protection, state vehicles, a ministerial salary, a ministerial house, and all related benefits that come with being a member of cabinet.
So here's the question we're asking you tonight. What do you think of these failures by the Justice Department to procure infrastructure necessary for the commencement of the Madlanga inquiry? And do you think it's enough for the DG and the DDG to take the fall? You can send us a WhatsApp voice note on your thoughts on 078 459 1897. Remember to tell us your name and your surname and where you're sending that voice note from. And please keep it at 30 seconds. Alternatively, you can send us an X on @FaceTheNation, SABC. All right, let's bring in now Justice Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi, who's joining us now via video link. Minister, thank you so much for making time for us. Good evening.
Good evening to you and good evening to your listeners.
So these failures, Minister, and lapses in the system that have delayed the start of the Madlanga inquiry, I mean, obviously they're just unacceptable. This is such an important and sensitive inquiry. Why are we here?
I think let me start by saying we have one area that we have not been able to meet the deadline on, and that's in the ICT. Everything else is in place. We've been able to contract the investigators. Pardon me, I've got flu. We've been able to contract the investigators. We've been able to contract the people, the lawyers that are needed, the team, the administrators. The commissioners themselves have been contracted properly. Their cars have been secured in terms of logistics for them to move. The venue in terms of their offices, storage for documents, and all that has been done. What has been outstanding is the ICT infrastructure. I was alerted because that we were supposed to have done the process in time. You'd understand, Clement, these are procurement issues that the minister doesn't get involved. So you simply go and sit with the team to say, this is what is required. You ask them, when will you be able to present this? And what I had done as the minister, I introduced the team so that there's seamless working between the team in terms of the administration together with the Madlanga Commission and the commissioners together with the chair. So they've been meeting consistently with the chair together with the teams. And first it came to my attention that when Judge Madlanga was saying to me, we seem to have delays in the ICT process. I called a meeting with the team. I asked questions, then I was alerted that no, there's a problem in terms of procurement process, what SEM requires. I then contacted the Minister of Communication and Technologies to see what best can we do in intervention. We requested the teams between ourselves and SETA to be able to meet. We were able to receive the support from SETA from that. Unfortunately, because the DDG responsible was supposed to have started the process earlier, which when I asked questions, why haven't you started the question? I've been convening regular meetings weekly to get an update. And the problem is that I would have been informed that things are in place when they had not. It's only 2 weeks ago that we learned that the process has been delayed. That's when I intervened. We thought that we could save the process, only to find that in terms of SEM, as you know, when it's not an emergency procurement, you need about 7 days to go to public and all those things. You need the various committees to sit, your bid adjudication, the spec committee, apparently you need a spec committee, so those are required by law.
Okay.
So even if you can want as a minister, you can't change those. Okay. So that's when we realized. We met with the commission on Friday to say this is where we are. And on Friday, I did confirm Clement to the commission that by today, all that was outstanding, I'm giving assurance after intervention, bringing the CFO and everybody else, that this will be intervened and resolved. And as we report, that ICT procurement has been done.
Okay, so just to clarify, did you only find out on Friday or 2 weeks ago that there are delays? Because as you say, if you've been having regular meetings with administrators in the department to make sure that all is in order for the commencement of this inquiry, when were the delays picked up? Because once you've picked up the delays and you intervene, then why are we still stuck with a situation where the inquiry can commence on the 1st of September?
We picked up the delays 2 weeks ago, Clement, as I say, but because you require deviation from SETA, you needed to get that first. Out of that, then you needed all the committees to sit with the specs of ICT. Between that, anyone who has dealt with procurement process will tell you, you can't do it in less than 2 weeks. Actually, we've been able to push to get this today and out of the interventions that we've made. And that's why it's not that we are unfairly charging the DDG, but it is because the DDG responsible had to do the work in time, make sure that the spec committee met on time, submit that spec to the CFO office for the SCM to procure. That was not done in time.
So the issue is not so much that this inquiry was rushed. It's because the department simply, especially the DDG who's responsible, failed to do his job.
We could have been able to meet the deadlines, Clement. I don't think that it's unfairly rushed. They were expected to start work on the 1st. All other areas have started. As I say, the lead investigators together with the other investigators have been doing interviews. So they've been interacting with the work that they need. All they needed is a platform that can be able to be sharing of information, cyber-secured platform that they can do. And that's why we are saying, because they had anticipated that all these platforms will be available last week, which was not available last week. Now, which meant that this week, Wednesday, they can't say. So we have a week lag in terms of the work that we expected from the report and my interaction with them. And despite that week lag, we are saying there must be consequences, because this is a serious commission. It's the president's commitment to the nation to say, this is what I'm going to make sure that we get to the bottom of it. The fact that the commission can't have hearings, it doesn't mean that there's no work that has been done. It can't have hearings to start with the first witness, meaning that it delays the time of reporting. And the president has been emphatic that, and myself, because we don't want those commissions that takes forever. Because the nation has said, stop this thing of commission that extended perpetually. And that's why right now we are saying consequence management has to apply.
Yeah, and of course consequence management is important, but have you thought about whether or not suspending them may lead to more delays? Who then becomes responsible for ensuring that this inquiry is not further compromised?
The procurement has been completed, Clement, today, I can confirm. So the Commission should be able to start its work. All the processes they can interact with that. I've received a report, so nothing will delay them in terms of the work that needs to be done.
And when exactly will that be? So if not the 1st of September, and then when?
The Commission have to explain that. I can't determine the date for them, Clement. It's not allowed.
What does this mean for the deadline that was set by the President, as you indicated? Because the chairperson of the inquiry said in his statement earlier today that this delay has eaten into the 3 months that's allocated for the Commission. So that may have to be extended, I imagine, if it doesn't start on the 1st of September. What are the consequences of this delay?
We will have to have a conversation between ourselves, the Commission and the Presidency. Remember the Commission in terms of Judge Madlanga. He was still active as a judge at the DCJ until the 1st. So he started at the 1st. So we would have counted the 3 months from the 1st of August. And it didn't mean that when we were counting the 3 months, we're meaning that hearings are starting in the 1st of August. There was never an intention to start the hearings on the 1st of August. So the conversation we need with them is to understand the time that they need extended between, because I do believe that it can be a month or more than a month, because the delay, if we are to work on this, it should be a week or two from where I'm sitting, because the services have been completed today.
So if the services have been completed, just to clarify, are you saying that the Commission, if it decided this evening that it wants to start on the 1st of September, based on the work that's already been done, that can still happen?
No, they said practically it's not possible from what they shared. I asked, that's what I was requesting on Friday. I was told by the people that it's not possible for them because they want a secured platform for them to share information and protect. They don't want to be hacked and take responsibility. So it was indicated that they would want to utilize this system to be able to do the work.
Okay, let's talk about then the DG, because you outlined the process that you have followed. You communicated your intention to suspend him in the morning. My understanding is that his letter of suspension then followed much later. How, because there are concerns there about whether or not, because you publicly spoke about it and yet you had just informed him of an intention to suspend him much earlier on. How are you protecting this so that it doesn't come back to bite you as minister?
No, the fact that I've received a letter from the President, courtesy was given to the DG with the notice that I've received this permission. You do that, you communicate. Because one of the issues, you don't want information coming out from a different source than the original source that is meant. So because the letter has been signed by the President, and the President has wanted me to communicate it publicly to say that he has delegated the powers for me to suspend, the DG has received his letter as communicated, because when I informed him today was that this is the decision of the President, has requested that I take disciplinary process, and this is the condition of this process, and therefore this is what is expected from me, this is what is expected from you. And I informed him that when I come back from media briefing, I will be able to communicate, to send him the letter that will require him to present his case. He presented his process or proposals, which he said he wants to sleep overnight over, which I've agreed, but the letter had to be sent today because that's the instruction I have. And remember, the powers of dealing with matters of the Director Generals are the powers of the President.
Yeah, which is why I've been asking about the process, so that that gets protected and the DG doesn't come back and says, but the minister was overstepping here. So he says he's going to think about it and he's going to be able to respond tomorrow to that letter of suspension.
Yeah, depending. The letter gives him 10 days, Clement, because there are substantive issues that we are raising in the letter.
Okay.
So we give him 10 days to respond, but procedurally there's nothing unfair that we have done, nothing untoward. The minute the President signed that letter and sent it to me, then it means I am now in the process, in control of the process. I need to make sure that I communicate both to him, but because it's an important department, you can't just communicate only to him. You communicate to the public, because you don't want, while you are giving him the space to answer, you allow for the public to speculate, and therefore certain things that are not supposed to are done. But also because I've got a department that still have to run daily, and tomorrow must be up and running, everybody back onto their post. You want to ensure that you communicate so that there's certainty on what needs to be done.
Okay. There's another crucial issue here, Minister, that I'd like to get clarity on. How are you going to ensure the protection of whistleblowers who may want to provide information to this inquiry as the Department of Justice?
We have proposals that we've got, including the guideline on how to protect whistleblowers. This taking from the Commission of State Capture, the Zondo Commission. Unfortunately, we were meant to meet with the commissioners on Monday, which they have requested cancellation or postponement. I am meeting them on Thursday, and once those will be done, we'll finalize and put them in place. We will not share more details about this climate in the public, because protection of whistleblower has to be protected as well. Because the minute you share details, then you're compromising even the process itself. But I can assure South Africans that work is being done to ensure full protection of the whistleblower, but also even the commission. We have taken a decision to protect the commissioners and the lead investigator. We are doing assessment for the other team members to see their risk. Currently, we're sitting at medium risk for the Madlanga Commission in terms of venue and the personnel. We're sitting at low risk for the TRC Commission, Ngqamakwe Commission.
Yeah. What's your message as we wrap up, Minister, to South Africans who have been disappointed by how the Department of Justice has failed to do what was necessary to be done for this inquiry to begin on the 1st of September? As you've seen, and the political parties are now beginning to suggest that, well, there's never really been an interest for the truth to come out, and that's why you're going to see these skirmishes. What assurance are you providing to South Africans this evening that this is a process that will be supported and that will be protected, will be given the necessary support so that it uncovers the truth following those serious allegations by the KZN Commissioner?
Clement, I can confirm. It's unfortunate that the statement in the morning created a panic, because when I read the statement as well, I thought it gave an impression as if nothing is in place. I think that's unfortunate, and that's why we had to clarify that actually almost everything is done. And today we concluded the ICT procurement. But secondly, to assure the nation, one of the things I had to do as a minister was to do as much as possible to immune the commission from the interference of the department. For example, in previous commissions, you'd have had officials from the department seconded to be secretary to the commission, spokesperson, and others. In this case, we've taken people that are not involved in the department, that the commission themselves have selected, including the legal representatives. The minister had no say in terms of the legal team that is working in Madlanga Commission. Judge Madlanga alone, together with his commissioners, decided on the team that they are going to work with. And this was particularly as well to protect the integrity of the commission, to protect that tomorrow people don't say the government has interfered, does not want this to happen. So I can assure South Africans that we've gone beyond reasonable doubt to ensure the independence of the commission, one. Two, to ensure that there's no interference with the commission from our side, to allow the commission to do its work, and we will continue to do that. And that's why from our side we had to come to the nation publicly through a media briefing, not even a statement, to outline what we have done, where there's been lapses, what are the consequence management, because definitely heads must roll where there is problems. So despite the fact that the processes have been completed, the fact that the Madlanga Commission cannot start with a hearing on the 1st, it warranted us to act. And I want to assure South Africans that we have made sure that all the other issues that needed to be cleared are cleared by today.
Justice Minister.
And I can just conclude, Clement, sorry. The team again this evening had a meeting with the Madlanga Commission. When I'm done, before I sleep, I will receive the final report to say what has been. And I'm hoping that, like you and other South Africans, that they will announce the first date of the hearings.
All right. Mmamoloko Kubayi, the Minister of Justice, thank you so much for speaking to us on Face the Nation tonight. Remember that question we asked you tonight. What do you make of these failures by the Justice Department to procure these important infrastructure that's necessary for the commencement of the Madlanga inquiry. The minister now says, well, most of the work has now been done and it's probably left to the commission chairperson to determine when the start of that inquiry will be. What are your thoughts? Share them with us. You can tweet us or send us a WhatsApp voice note. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. The Higher Education Portfolio Committee wants answers from Minister Buti Manamela on whether he followed the correct procedure when putting 3 sector education and training authorities under administration. The Minister of Higher Education placed the construction SETA, the services SETA, and the local government SETA under administration last week. Let's bring in now Tebogo, Letsie, who is the chairperson of the Higher Education Committee in Parliament. Tebogo, thank you so much for making time for us. Good evening.
Good evening, Clement, to yourself, the viewers of SABC, Face the Nation, and thanks for having us.
So there are some issues that have been raised regarding how the minister has gone about placing these 3 SETAs under administration. It seems like he didn't really follow the law from what the SETA CEOs are saying. Have you, as the committee, asked him to explain the process that he followed?
Indeed, we have written to him on the 19th of August 2025 to explain the whole reasons that would have pushed him to take this decision and the process that would have followed. He did respond to us on the 20th, well, on the 23rd, but the letter was dated the 22nd, which did not respond to our questions. So I wrote to him again yesterday, indicating, because on the letter that he wrote to us, he said he's subjecting this process to a PSC process, but I wrote to him and indicated that he has a responsibility to account to Parliament. We don't undermine PSC as a Chapter 10 institution, but we are Parliament given the powers by the Constitution, Section 55 and 92, subsection 2. So expect him to respond. He has not yet responded. His deadline is tomorrow.
So to be clear, you asked him to explain what process he followed in placing these SETAs under administration. And his response was that the Public Service Commission is now in control of the situation, trying to investigate. He didn't necessarily respond to and to explain how he went about this decision.
Yeah, not only the process and the reasons, but we also, when we wrote again to him and we said to him, because there are issues that have been raised about the administrators themselves, he must also tell us if there was any work done on looking at the quality of the people that he was bringing there and whether they had any other issues. So we're waiting for him to respond to those things tomorrow. But to answer your question true, we asked him about the process and he referred us to that he has referred the matter to the PSC.
Okay, so what does the Skills Development Act actually say about the placing SETAs under administration? What was he expected to do?
Well, the first thing is that if there's allegations of anything, let's say maladministration, governance collapse, financial mismanagement, the skills development indicate that he has to undergo some investigative process. And then once it comes out and says there's 1, 2, 3, 4, he must write to the SETAs and say, look, with the forensic has found 1, 2, 3, 4, can you please explain? And if he's not happy with their responses, then he can institute section 15 subsection 1, where he puts the SETA under administration, working with the Director General. So he instructs the Director General to put the SETAs under administration. So that is what these SETAs are saying that did not happen.
Yeah, the SETA CEOs are saying that when they went to the DG and asked, what are the reasons really for placing our SETAs under administration, the DG said, well, it's the minister's decision. He didn't seem to have any answers. Which is
because the DG should know. I mean, the DG signed the gazettes. You saw the gazettes that were. So it will suggest that the DG would have signed the gazettes from the instruction of the minister when he himself did not prepare the report to the minister. It's a very strange answer, but like I said, the minister will respond, must respond to us by tomorrow. the 20th of the 27th. Is it the 27th?
Yeah. What is happening at the higher education department? Because just a couple of months ago, we were dealing with a former minister who had to be fired, and there were questions around DGs, what they knew, what they didn't know. Are you not concerned as the committee that things are getting out of control?
I'm very concerned about the state of the department, because the department has got a number of people who are employed. In fact, people who are employed in the department, working under the department, are around 30-something thousand, including principals and officials of TVET colleges and all of that. So it's a big number. But those who are in the department itself, we've got very senior people there. The Director General himself, 4 DDG or 7 DDGs, including the CFO. You have directors. So there are people who should be preparing these documents for the ministry. Because when you send these documents, say, Minister, please consider putting services SETA under administration, you should be giving him a file that says, these are the issues, maybe Auditor General reports for the past 5 years. These are the performance of these SETAs. These are governance challenges of this SETA. So if the Director General comes back and says he's not aware, then it's a very scary situation. It means that there's something wrong that is happening at the department.
One of the things that the SETA CEOs are saying is that, yes, there have been governance failures before at their SETAs. I mean, when you look at the construction SETA, for instance, they're saying there is no report that currently exists that speaks to board instability or governance failures at the SETA. Yes, that happened in 2019, and the Higher Education Department intervened. It placed that SETA under administration. A new board was appointed. But there's nothing right now, no report that suggests that there are governance failures, which then begs the question, where did the minister get that? Because he seems to say that that's what informed his decision to place them under administration.
Indeed, in fact, when that SETA was put under administration in 2019, in December of 2019, I think around the 22nd of December 2019, Mr. Wasa was put as an administrator there for about 2 years. When he was there, he did investigations. There's a report called the Duja report. So in May this year, we called the department with the construction SETA, because we paid about 18 million. The department paid about 18 million for that investigation, which was comprehensive. And we were shocked to learn that the department has not made that Duja report public, and therefore the current or the board that just left could not implement any of the recommendations of this Duja report, because it was not a public document. It must be, the department must publicize it. They did not do it.
Wait, they spent 18 million rand investigating, and the recommendations from that investigation were not implemented?
Yes, and that's what we had a problem with the department. And immediately when we finished with them, they said they are going to publicize it. Before I came here, I went to the department websites to check if indeed they've done so. That Duja report raises a lot of questions about maladministration, people who were given discretionary grants to their friends who do not qualify, but they can't be prosecuted. We can't do anything to them because the SETA can't implement consequence management on those people. And who's at fault? It's the department itself. So the department, which today are saying they are not aware of what would have happened, what are the reasons, are themselves to blame for wasteful expenditure of this amount.
Okay. Now, something else that is of great concern is that the Minister of Higher Education has appointed these administrators. They've got questionable backgrounds. He is now asking the Public Service Commission to somehow investigate and vet the administrators. How does that make sense, that a Minister of Higher Education appoints administrators and then only after the fact goes to the Public Service Commission to say, hey, please vet these individuals? In fact, my understanding is that these people have already started the work.
Yeah, from what you are saying, it does not make sense. And that is why we have applied to government for a special day so that we can have a conversation as the portfolio committee with the minister, because from what you are saying is that they are admitting that they've appointed people without due process, which would have been strange, because that again would have been the job of the leaders, the leaders from the department, legal team, director general and his team, and that if that would not have happened, again it will mean that it's a misconduct. It's people in the department playing with the lives of our people. These SETAs should play a critical role in skilling, upskilling and reskilling our unemployed and employed people in South Africa, so that they are able to contribute meaningfully to the mainstream economy. And if they continue to do these things, honestly speaking, we must have a serious conversation with the leadership at the department. Secondly, we have asked that the department must give us the problem statements of this skills development. At one of the proposals we are going to put there is that so the department must have what we call a panel of seasoned, qualified practitioners, business rescue practitioners, who, when you want to put a seat under administration, you look at those people. But it must be seasoned business rescue practitioners, because if you're just going to put somebody because they've got this qualification or that qualification, you are going to open up the system for corrupt activities, where Tebogo, as a minister, can just go and look at Clement as a friend who just happened to have qualifications, but not necessarily the qualifications that would work best for this particular problem that we have. But because they've got qualifications, you just put qualifications that fit the criteria of your particular person. So when we change the skills development, like, these are some of the issues that personally I'm going to put there as a proposal, so that we are stabilized. When we mean we want to stabilize this thing, we must be practical. It must be something that even when you look at it, it will be a code that will be very difficult to crack. When is he going to be appearing in Parliament to answer these questions? I've applied for the 12th of September, because next week we have a strategic session as the portfolio committee. He will appear there to make a keynote on his plans, because he's a brand new minister. He turned 1 month last week Thursday. He must want to know what is his plans in the sector. He will appear there for about 40 minutes. And then the following week, on a Wednesday, we have scheduled a program that has been approved by Parliament. So we want to ask for a Friday, which is not our normal day. But we've also submitted either the 12th of the 19th or the 19th, just in case they don't give us the 12th. We don't wait for them to reject the 12th and then reapply for the 19th. If we are late, people might start accusing us of trying to apply late intentionally, so that he does not get his day. So we've applied for the 12th, and if we don't get the 12th, then we've subsequently said alternate is the 19th. So next month in September, when Parliament assumes their responsibilities, he will appear. He has indicated that he wants to appear. But before he appears, we've told him that he must give us the responses that we're looking for as Parliament. All right. Tebogo, Letsie, thank you so much for making time for us. He's the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education in Parliament. We'll be back after the break. All right, welcome back. So we've been asking you tonight what do you make of this, the failures and the collapse, the lapses in the system, as the minister said, in as far as the Department of Justice is concerned. They have failed to do the basic work to ensure that the Madlanga inquiry actually starts on the 1st of September as initially planned. Let's look at your tweets now that have come through responding to that question. A viewer says, I think there was a delay
on the minister herself. I suspect she acted on the last minute. Today is the 26th of August and the commission is set to commence in 5 days' time. Shouldn't these be monitored regularly, especially when we know how serious the issue at hand is? Dennis says the delays raise concerns about the Commission's ability to meet its reporting timelines, with a substantial portion of 3-month period for submitting an interim report already passing without a single witness taking the stand. Will it confront corruption and ensure accountability? Makuntle says if it wasn't for today's breaking news that come the 1st of September, the Commission won't be sitting. I wonder if we were going to hear from the Minister of Justice. And that's precisely the question, right? The Minister, I asked her whether she had regular meetings with the administrators at the department, and she says she was made aware about 2 weeks ago on Friday that there are actually delays, and it looks like the DDG responsible for infrastructure didn't do his job, and that's why the minister says the decision had to be taken that there be consequence management. Here's what some of them said on the WhatsApp line.
Good evening, Clement. This is really disappointing, to be honest. I like the Minister of Justice so much. You can tell he's a woman, he's on the ground, she's visible.
All right, apologies there with the technical glitches around the WhatsApp voice notes. We'll try bring them back before we wrap up the show. Let's move to this now in the meantime. An unfinished major water project in the Eastern Cape has reportedly left over a number of communities without water in the Amathole District. The Ngqamakwe water project was scheduled for completion in 2022, and now reports suggest that only 10% of the work has been completed at a cost of 124 million rand amid contractor disputes. Let's get some more clarity now with the Amathole District Municipal Manager, Dr. Bhekisisa Mthembu, who joins us now. Dr. Mthembu, thank you so much for making time for us. Good evening.
Good evening, sir, and greetings to yourself and the viewers of SABC. And thank you for having me.
When did this water scheme in Somo begin, and when was it expected to be completed?
I think let me put two things into perspective. One, that the contractor, there were two contractors that were appointed to complete the scheme. The first instance was the 2022 that we have referred to, and the second instance was the 2025, which was supposed to have completed. I can give you a perspective that the second contract that was appointed by Amathole District Municipality, which is the only one that was appointed by Amathole District, appointed in 2023 February, supposed to have completed the project in April 2025, and that did not happen. So hence the enforcement of the general conditions of contract has been put in place now to address that particular problem.
Why haven't they done their work? What's the reason for them not completing this project?
If I can give you a perspective, in a sense that the contractor will have a works program, of course, to complete the project. And that is monitored by the engineer in a form of project management together with the municipality. In this instance, the contractor was unable to adhere to the schedule of works according to our project management processes that are in place and very strong, to the fact that it ended up being that the termination is inevitable after notices have been given, and of course the compliance with those particular notices is not adhered to. So it appeared that the notices have been given and nothing has been done about them. Then the termination was therefore inevitable, because we are serious about delivery And we are also serious about ensuring that there is an access to water services by all communities of Amathole, in particular Ngqamakwe.
So shouldn't you have been aware as the municipality that this contractor is not capable of doing this work? How did you satisfy yourself that these were the best people for the job?
You will understand that the procurement process follow a particular guidelines as per the Municipal Finance Management Act and the regulations of supply chain management. So a person submits, of course, and then it follows a process of procurement, which includes the committees of supply chain in the municipality, which then those committees will go to the extent of recommending for the appointment after having satisfied themselves in terms of the capacity of the contractor and also the financial offer in the form of a price. And then the person, of course, has to pass through the functionality test, which it was done in this particular contractor. And however, when it got to the work itself, then the contractor started experiencing challenges, and then which then resulted in the situation that we are in now.
So how much money has been paid to this contractor who's been unable to do this job?
Perhaps before I get to the money part, let me explain that the work that has been done on site, on the ground, is 52%, which obviously we should have been at 100% now. Now, the 125 million referred to as money that have been paid is for the work that has been done. Maybe let me also give comfort to the following. There are checks and balances to the T in terms of this project in particular. How that is done is because this project is Section 6B, if I can refer to that. But what does it mean? It means that the money is not kept at the municipality. It is kept at the Department of Water and Sanitation. So we work together very well on many projects. The contractor submits the claim, and then the consultant engineer also, they then verify the work and satisfy themselves, and then the municipality will then submit to the Department of Water and Sanitation, which is Department of Water and Sanitation will do their own checks and balances, and then after they've satisfied themselves, then pay the money.
So how much money
so there
has
are a lot
been
of
spent to this contractor?
Is 125 million has been paid based on the work that has been done on the ground in terms of pipe laying, amongst other things. How
much money was budgeted for this project?
The project itself was 640 million in totality. Remember, that includes a lot of electrical work, reservoirs for water storage. So it's amongst others, it's a different components, but it amounts to 640 million in total. So at this point, having
spent the 125 million, you said 50% of the work has been done. So what does that mean?
Yes. Okay. No, I think I expected that there might be equating the 52, the 125, and you say there is no, it should have been maybe 300. No, it's not like that. As I'm saying, the work that is being done there is it's a complex project, if I can put it like that. There is pipe laying, the contractor that was supposed to do up to a particular point, and they have done not to a completion point, but to a point where they were paying for the work that has been verified having been done. And also, it's important to emphasize that work that has been done has not gone to waste in that sense of saying that, because we are, as a municipality now, have put the process in place to make sure that there is a replacement contractor, because people cannot wait any longer. we are having obvious interventions that are being done to make sure that people have access to the water uninterruptedly. However, there is also electrical work that is to be done there. There is also reservoirs, as I've indicated, that is also has to be done there. There is also excavations that has to be done. So this is a very complex project, which if you may think that 125 equal to 50%, but the work that was to be done by this contractor has amounted to that particular amount, obviously based on verification done and audited accordingly.
Okay, so what exactly have they done for this 125 million rand? So have they done the piping? Have they done the excavations? What exactly has the second contractor done to warrant this amount of money being paid to them before they even complete this project, of course, for the work that they have done?
Yes. Yes, the excavation has been done as well, and the pipeline has been done. Of course, it didn't end there. It wasn't supposed to end there. It was going further. As I've indicated the amount, you can see that it is over 500 million. So that is now the pipeline, the excavation. So it's a lot of the underground work also that has been done in terms of the rock, breaking of the rock in the project.
How many communities
also that has been done? The communities, the villages, it's 129 villages in total that will be benefiting from this project.
But I'm asking about this second contractor for work that they've already done. For how many communities have they already done the work? Is it all of the communities or is it a couple of them?
Okay. Maybe let me explain it like this so that it can be clear. One, this project is to take water. There is another plant, very major mega plant that has been constructed by another district municipality, and it's just across the river from where the district municipality Amathole is situated, or in the boundaries, the cross-border issues. So what then happens, this water, the other plant is to abstract the water from the Somo River, and then in this plant, it was supposed to also abstract the water for the villages that is in Ngqamakwe, taking from the Somo River. But with the intergovernmental relations process that's in place to speak to the district, the neighboring district, to say, we will take water and clean them, having been abstracted by yourself. So it's to take water and store the water and distribute to the communities. So that is how it is going to be. There are also other phases which are moving very well to the village infrastructure reticulation is in place. So that's what is currently being done now. We were obviously quite disappointed in terms of the pace of this particular contractor because it holds a very critical role in ensuring that the reticulation gets to its full swing. If you look at other phases, phase 3, for instance, which is moving quite significantly well at this point, was obviously to put in place the infrastructure for the municipality in terms of ensuring that the water gets to the villages. And you might wonder as to what then is happening now. I think that can be a big question as well. Yeah. We are busy ensuring that people get water through the boreholes that are being drilled in those areas to make sure that people access water. We're making sure that there is no day without water in any household, even going to the extent of cutting the water to make sure that people access the water, whilst we're getting in place the replacement contractor.
Okay, yeah, Dr. Mthembu, thank you so much for speaking to us. There are 130 communities that are still waiting for this project to be completed, and they need access to water. So we'll keep a close eye on this to ensure that these monies that have also been paid are actually for work that's been done and that's justified. Thank you for chatting to us, and thanks to you for watching the Tuesday edition of Face the Nation. We'll be back with you on Thursday at 8 p.m. Have a good evening. Cheers.